So they threw us outside. So I square up with, because I already know, like, I'm like, yo, there's 4 of them. So I square up, and it's just me and my mother. And she's like, Jorge, there's a gun, right? She said it in Spanish. She said, they got a gun. So the reason I didn't die that day, truth be told, is because the ambulance was actually in front of the courthouse having lunch. They were at the scene. I wanted everybody to feel my pain. And, you know, I believe I became worse than what I was, than what I ever was. Through that process of me dropping out, I immersed myself into the streets and fully blown gun activity, drug activity, gang activity. And 2 years after that is where I got put in the chair.
Oh, you ended up in the chair.
So May, let me say, I think it was in 94, May, somewhere in May. The previous, through that process of me actually dropping out and then actually going into the streets, I just started selling drugs, started gang banging and all that good stuff. And I remember walking down Bristol, Connecticut, and I'm actually at I'm in front of the courthouse. So in Bristol, Connecticut, you have the courthouse, and then you have the police department, and you have the courthouse. So it's one building, you have both. Police department's on the first floor, courthouse on the second floor. That particular day, I had just picked up, I had some crack on me, and I'm walking from one side of the city to the other. So you gotta walk through downtown. As I'm walking by, a couple of cats are in front of the building, and I know them. So they're out there because I guess that they were waiting for a court, to see the judge.
It's not like a friendly type, like was...
Yeah, I knew them.
Okay.
So it was just like if I seen y'all in front of the court, I just decided to stop. We start kicking it, right? Like, yo, what's up? You know, and what I didn't know is that a couple of minutes before that, somebody had called that said that there's a bunch of young fellas in front of the police department courthouse playing with a gun. What it was is that they were playing with a cap gun. So they reported it. And so I'm standing there, not knowing what was going on. Guess what? They walked outside. To this day, I'm not gonna lie, yo, it's one of those things that it's just like, yo, the most idiotic decision I've ever made to even sit in front of a federal building / courthouse with work on. Like, it was just like one of those things. So they walked out, they put us against the wall looking for the gun, but what they found the work on me. They walked me inside the building, so I caught a case. To this day, I'm like, when I go speak to students, I'm like, yo, that's the most idiotic. It has to, hands down.
It's like you wasn't even really like you.
Self-aware.
You know, exactly.
We were talking about just when you're young, we're so caught up with everything and we're not even aware of what's happening. And so I got arrested. That turned into, you know, obviously it's a federal building. A month after that, I got bailed out. Grandma bailed me out. A month after that, I have to go to court. My mother ended up going with me because I'm 17. So remember, I dropped out of high school 15. By the time 17 hit, it was one of those things that I thought I was Superman. That's on my chest. You couldn't tell me nothing. I had that, you know, I had those stakes on me. I had work. I had money. I had my own apartment at the time. I already had left grandma's house.
You was 17?
Huh?
At this time, when you had your own apartment?
I had my own apartment at 15. At 15, I had my own apartment. I've been paying rent since I was 15. But 2 years after, now I'm fully invested. So I'm leading, you know, a lot of, I'm on the front lines with a lot.
Front work or just doing what you have to.
Everything.
You know?
When I tell you my hands was involved in everything. I was pres at the time. So I had 2 chapters that I was overseeing. And then that comes with a lot of other stuff that goes into it. So that day that I ultimately, went to court, I went upstairs, went through the first floor, which is the police department, as I said. I went upstairs, the second floor is the courthouse. We get into the room where the judge is at, and we're sitting there. And I recall hearing the door opening as we hearing the judge talk, and then the door opened. So I looked over my right shoulder. Dude comes in and he kind of just give me that look like, "What's up?" So it was.
You know him?
Nah, I didn't. But he obviously knew who I was.
Right.
So I was just like, "What's up?" And so we gave each other a head nod, and already my stomach knotted up. That spider senses kicked in, and he went and made a phone call. You could see him leave the room, and he went and made a phone call. He brought 4 other individuals, maybe 20 minutes after, 15 minutes after. So that turned into them start throwing gang signs inside the courtroom. So I started throwing gang signs. My mom's like, yo, Jorge not here. And I'm like, nah.
All the judges at the port, like,
we in court. We in court, like judges and talking and they're like, you know, throwing all their signs. And I'm just like, and I'm throwing my signs. And she's like, yo, not here, bro. Like, what you doing? And I'm like, yo, ain't nobody gonna disrespect me in front of my mother. Was it about mom? You know, I told you, I have a problem at this point. You ain't gonna disrespect, I don't care where we at. You ain't gonna get at me. You ain't gonna, like, we not, what you wanna do? So, you know, that I don't care attitude. That turned into verbal altercation. Now we shouting and arguing and in the courtroom, which ultimately turned into what? Physical altercation. So the sheriffs grabbed all of us, they grabbed us and they start ramming us down across out the room and then across the courthouse and then down the stairs. So I'm saying to myself, yo, this is about to get real because I got 4 of them and I was just fighting with 2 of them. So I'm in my head, I'm just like, yo, they're gonna put me in the cell and I'm gonna have to bang out with these dudes. So they grabbing all of us, chaos, swearing, all that. We fight. We still trying to get at each other. And by the time we get to the bottom of the staircase, if you take a right, you go into the police department. But if you take a left, you actually get thrown. You go outside. By our surprise, we got thrown outside. Literally, the first thing I hear is because I squared up.
They threw all y'all outside.
All of us on some like take it outside type thing. Y'all gonna get warrants type thing. Like, right? They're talking to us so they threw us outside. So I square up with, because I already know. Like, I'm like, yo, there's 4 of them. So I square up and it's just me and my mother. And she's like, Jorge, there's a gun, right? She said it in Spanish. She said, they got a gun. So I turned around and I jumped in front of her. The first time, as soon as I jumped in front of her, first bullet hit me.
Well, that first one hit you, or you didn't even know?
Oh, no, it stopped me right in my track. It went silent. By the time the second one hit me, I was just like, yo, they're trying to kill you, bro. So I turned around to try to run inside the building. I collapsed, I fell, and
they was still gunning at you.
He hit me multiple times. Yep. So my mom urinated on herself. You know, even though me and her were like more like brothers and sisters, I was her firstborn. You know, I was just talking to her recently. Our relationship's still not good from that.
What drew you to the streets?
Grew up with just all females, not having no brothers. Just wanted to be part of something, man. You know, looking for brotherhood, looking for a male to, you know, now that I look back, it's just, I didn't have no direction. You know what it is to be 10, 11, 12, and always getting into it, not knowing who you could talk to about.
From a man perspective, just like a man's.
Yeah, my grandmother was the type that by the time I was, I think I remember I was like 8, 9. I remember we used to live in the project, man. Somebody smacked fire out of me because I didn't want to go get a ball in the water in a puddle when they were playing handball. And my man was like 13, 14, and she was the type that I went crying home like, yo, they smacked me. She came, all my grandma, great-grandmother, all the females, and I had to fight dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I had to fight dude at like 8, and, you know, my man definitely gave it to me. But that was the energy, you know? It was just one of those things. So, you know, I heard 50 say one time, it's like, yo, I never ran, because who was I going to go get?
Yeah.
And that's exactly, when I heard that, it spoke to my soul. That's exactly what was going on in my head. There was nobody to go to.
When that first happened outside the courthouse when you got shot, what was going through your head at that, during all that?
I can't feel my legs. God, am I going to die?
So you knew, like, as soon as that happened, your legs...
Instantly.
Was that like you hit in the spine?
Yeah, so the reason I didn't die that day, truth be told, is because the ambulance was actually in front of the courthouse having lunch. They were at the scene. So right after everything happened,
automatic hospital.
They flew me, they drove me from the courthouse to the high school. They drew me up there, and then at the high school they took the flight. They air flight, whatever they call that. They brought me all the way to Hartford. Yeah.
How long were you in the hospital for when that happened?
I think I was out of it, coma. I think it was a couple of days. Came out between that and rehab, maybe a year. Because once you get put in a chair, you know, you got to relearn how to live. So I was 17. Now I have to wear catheters. You know what catheters are?
Yeah. Nah.
For urinating and...
So catheters, like, I could even show you. I gotta have them, but there's a tube like this, plastic tube. It's about 14 inch. and it comes in different sizes, and you have to put that plastic tube inside your private
I heard
to
it.
empty
Okay.
to empty your bladder. Diapers, so your boy was sitting there just it was crazy. It was
To this day, you still have to go through those processes?
yeah, every day. I can't urinate without using the catheter, and I use them 5-6 times a day. Because I use that, I deal with chronic urine infections. That causes bacteria to come into our bladder because of putting an actual foreign object inside your body that catches you with bacteria, which is one of the challenges health-wise that paraplegics deal with.
At what point did you find out you were paralyzed? Was it as soon as that happened, or like hospital?
Yeah, I think when I woke up, I woke up to the doctor telling my grandmother and my mother, like, yo, he won't walk again. He's paralyzed.
Did you go back to school after you healed?
Nah. I dropped out.
Oh, you dropped out of that?
Yeah, I dropped out. So while I was there, then those 2 years, because I got gunned down in '94. So I didn't came to Worcester until '96. So I went on a rampage, man.
Were you on the block doing what you was doing in the
Everything.
wheelchair?
I if nothing ever happened, and I was actually in a very dark place because I wanted everybody to feel my pain, and I believe I became worse than what I was, than what I ever was. You go through a trauma, two things happen. You either can't be around that situation or that type of environment because it's just, you too traumatized, or you embrace it and fully accept it. And I believe that's what happened to me. So I was just being a menace at that time. I was getting sick, and through that process, I realized my grandmother, family, everybody picked up and left. And that's what happened. I stood up in Connecticut by myself. Grandma came up here. My mom went to, I think that she went to New York or something to that extent. So it was just one of those things that I stood up there.
After all that happened, everyone was kind of like, that was too much. Everyone was just
everybody left. Yep, everybody left.
What was going through your mind when they told you wouldn't be able to walk again?
I was just angry. I don't even think I understood fully what that meant. I was crying every day. I got an officer. I forgot what the officer's name. He just recently called me here in Worcester, right? I don't know if you know the incident that happened up by Barclay a couple months ago. Young man got put in a chair.
I didn't hear that.
So there was something went down, and he was a victim of gunplay. They caught the young man that supposedly allegedly did it, but he's paralyzed from the neck down, 17. And so they called me. He's in Boston right now, and I went to go see him just recently, and it brought back how much of a baby I was. I thought, you think you're a man, you think you're 17, you're 18, you think you guys in your late 20s, right? And y'all babies, man. And that's no disrespect, man. That's just love. You know what I'm saying? I'm 48 and I still got so much to grow. But you look at a young brother like that, and he's just going through it. And I don't even think you grasp it, man. I think it was one of those things that when it happened, I was angry. I was more on some how can I make everybody feel it type thing. So I wasn't receptive to it, to what was really happening, in the sense of I lost my legs. The beauty of that, I think, is that because I was young enough, I was naive to it, meaning, it is what it is. I still got to keep moving. I still got to keep, I'm not going to just sit here. And I believe that was the catalyst to what I've been able to build to this day.
What happened to the guys that did that to you?
There was, I believe there was 4, maybe 5, but there was 4 in that day at the court inside the room. So 2 of them got locked up. 2 of them got locked up that day.
For that?
And 1 of them got killed 2 days after for that.
And the last guy?
Don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, to be honest with you.
Motherfucker got lucky.
Yeah, because I don't think he ever, there was no light on that. But the main ones were definitely the ones that I talked about.
What was your energy towards the streets afterwards?
I was a menace, man.
No respect for nobody.
No respect. I was in a dark place. I was ready to, yeah. I was ready to, make everybody feel what I was feeling. I was angry. I was embarrassed. You know what I'm saying? I got dudes looking down on me now. And to me, I think it's that ego we talked about. Now it's just like, okay, like you would look at me and I'm like, yo, what you looking at? And it's like, my man could just be looking because he just sees you in front of him, or just they never see nobody in the chair. And I remember how I was so problematic looking for situations, and I became I used to have things on me all the time.
Combative, like just
ready for it. So yeah, that was the energy at the time.